Sophie Martinez sat in her wheelchair on the rooftop restaurant terrace, the city lights twinkling below, wondering how she let herself be talked into this. Her college friends had insisted that a man named Daniel, successful CEO, had seen her photo, specifically requested to meet her for dinner. Now, seeing Jessica and Mark filming from inside through the glass doors, their phones pointed at her, Sophie understood the truth. This was a setup, a cruel joke. Let's see what happens when the hot CEO realizes his blind date is in a wheelchair. Sophie started to turn her chair around to leave when she heard footsteps behind her. Sophie. She turned to see a man in a gray suit, maybe in his mid-30s, with dark hair and genuinely kind eyes. He looked concerned, not disgusted or disappointed. "I'm Daniel Hayes. I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. Traffic was terrible." He pulled out the chair across from her and sat down, his eyes never once dropping to her wheelchair with that look of pity or discomfort she'd seen 1,000 times. "You're actually here," Sophie said, unable to hide her surprise. "Of course I'm here. Why wouldn't I be?" Sophie glanced toward the glass doors where Jessica and Mark were still filming, their expressions showing confusion rather than the satisfaction they'd expected. "Because this is a joke, a setup. My so-called friends told you I was someone else, didn't they? Someone who could walk." Daniel's jaw tightened. "What? They set this up to humiliate me, to film your reaction when you saw me in a wheelchair. So if you want to leave, just do it. I'm used to it." Daniel turned and looked at Jessica and Mark through the glass. His expression went cold. He stood up and walked straight toward them. Sophie watched as Daniel said something that made Jessica's smug smile disappear. He pointed at their phones, said something else, and both of them went pale. Mark tried to argue, but Daniel pulled out his own phone and made a call while staring at them. Within moments, security appeared and escorted Jessica and Mark out of the restaurant. Daniel returned to the table and sat back down. "I'm sorry. They've been removed from the premises." "What did you say to them?" "I told them I'm the owner of this restaurant, among other properties, and they're now banned from all of them. I also told them that filming someone without consent for the purpose of mockery could have legal consequences, and I'd be happy to pursue those consequences if they didn't delete those videos immediately." Sophie stared at him. "You own this restaurant, and about 40 others in the city, but that's not important right now." Daniel leaned forward. "Sophie, I need you to know something. When I agreed to this blind date, I was told about you by the person who set us up. I was told you were a brilliant architect who designs accessible buildings, that you volunteer at a disability rights organization, that you have a sharp wit and don't suffer fools. The person who set us up, my assistant, who's apparently friends with your cousin, never mentioned your wheelchair because she didn't think it was relevant. And she was right. It's not your assistant set this up. Not Jessica." "Who's Jessica?" "The woman who was just filming. She told me she'd arranged this, that you'd seen my photo and wanted to meet me." Daniel's expression darkened. "She hijacked the date. My assistant told me I'd be meeting someone named Sophie at 7 o'clock on this rooftop. I'm guessing your real friends told you the same thing, and these people inserted themselves to turn it into entertainment." Sophie felt tears prick her eyes. "I'm so tired of being someone's punchline. Then let's not give them the satisfaction. Let's have dinner. Let's get to know each other. And let's show them that their cruelty failed completely." Over dinner, Daniel proved to be exactly what his assistant had promised: intelligent, funny, and genuinely interested in Sophie's work. Sophie designed adaptive housing and accessible public spaces. Daniel ran a real estate development company and was immediately engaged when she talked about universal design principles. "Been wanting to incorporate better accessibility into my developments," Daniel said, "but I don't want to do it as an afterthought or a legal requirement. I want it to be central to the design. Would you be interested in consulting? Are you offering me a job Because you feel sorry for me? I'm offering you a job because I've been looking for an accessibility consultant for 6 months and haven't found anyone with your qualifications. Check my company website. There's a job posting that matches your expertise exactly. Sophie pulled out her phone and looked. He was right. The posting was 3 months old. But this is a blind date, Sophie said. It's a conflict of interest to mix business and personal. Then let's keep them separate. The job offer stands, regardless of whether you want to see me again personally. But I'm hoping you'll say yes to both. Why? You could date anyone. Someone without complications. Someone who doesn't need ramps and accessible bathrooms. And someone boring. Daniel interrupted gently. Sophie, I've dated plenty of people who could walk. They were all so shallow, self-absorbed, and cared more about my bank account than my personality. You're the first person in years who's challenged me intellectually, who cares about something beyond herself, who has actual depth and character. You don't know me. Then let me get to know you. Real date, next week. Your choice of locations, somewhere fully accessible, where you're comfortable. And in the meantime, think about the job offer. Sophie agreed to both. Over the following months, Sophie consulted on Daniel's development, and they dated carefully, thoughtfully. He never made a show of her wheelchair, never treated her as fragile, never pitied her. He simply adapted, choosing restaurants with level entrances, making sure venues were accessible, learning about her needs without making them a spectacle. My ex used to make a big deal about my wheelchair, Sophie told him one evening. He'd announce to everyone that he was so noble for dating someone like me. He'd point out every ramp we used, every accommodation, like he deserved a medal for basic decency. He sounds like a jackass. He was. You're different. You just ... quietly, without making it about you. Because it's not about me. It's about respecting you. Daniel took her hand. Sophie, I need to tell you something. That night on the rooftop, when I saw those people filming you, I was furious. Not because you use a wheelchair, because they thought that was worth mocking, because they tried to turn your life into entertainment. In that moment, I realized I've been looking at dating all wrong. I've been so focused on finding someone without complications that I've been pursuing relationships with people who had no substance. You have both substance and complications, and the substance is what matters. 6 months after that rooftop setup, Daniel proposed on a different rooftop one he'd had specially designed with Sophie's input to be fully accessible while still offering stunning city views. This is where we met, Daniel said, kneeling beside her wheelchair, where cruel people tried to make you the victim of a joke, where I found the woman who challenges me, inspires me, and shows me what real strength looks like. Sophie Martinez, will you marry me? Sophie said yes through happy tears at their wedding. Daniel's toast addressed that first night. My wife and I met because terrible people tried to humiliate her. They set up a situation designed to make her feel less than, to turn her disability into a joke. What they didn't count on was that I'd see exactly what they couldn't. That the woman in that wheelchair is worth more than anyone else in that restaurant, including me. Sophie, you didn't need me to defend you that night. You were already strong enough. But I'm grateful I got to stand beside you. And I'm grateful you let me keep standing beside you. Years later, when people asked Sophie about that night, she always told the truth about the setup. But she always ended with, those people tried to make me feel small. Instead, they introduced me to someone who made me feel seen. Sometimes the worst intentions create the best outcomes. Sometimes the joke is on the people making jokes. And sometimes the person who sees past your wheelchair to your soul becomes the love of your life. If this story touched your heart, please like and share it. Subscribe for more stories about dignity, seeing beyond appearances, and love that chooses character over convenience. Leave a comment about someone who saw your worth when others couldn't. Your stories inspire us all.